Hello, my name is Adam Webb. I'm the new director of the Garland County Library, and I'm here to answer all of your questions. So let's get going. Who puts baby in a corner? Nobody puts baby in a corner. That was an easy one. Let's keep going here. Love dirty dancing. What's your stance on the widespread problem of bullying in society? How will your stance affect the library as a workplace and as a place where members of the public gather? Not a lot of folks know this about me, but I was bullied as a kid pretty extensively. Had to switch schools in 6th grade, and so bullying is a personal issue for me. I personally am not a bully of any way, shape, or form, and I don't really tolerate it. So the library is a place of inclusivity and civility, and like anywhere else in my life, I don't tolerate bullying here or there. Did that answer the whole question there? What's my stance as it affects the workplace and place members of the public gather? So yeah, we're a public space, and everybody's welcome, regardless of age, income, social status, and so anybody's welcome here. Nobody should be excluded. I think that answers that. That's a long one and tough after who puts baby in the corner. What's an upcoming change that might be considered controversial? There's a growing movement in the United States for public libraries to go fine free. I think it's only a matter of time before that option is on our doorstep. It's something that we're currently investigating just to see how it would affect library operations. And it seems to be controversial from folks who think that the library is an agency that teaches social responsibility, which I don't know if that's really in our purview, but looking at library fines as a form of social inequity is something that a lot of libraries are looking at. The American Library Association has put out a statement on that, and they're compelling or asking libraries to start looking at removing library fines. So that might be something that could be considered controversial, but it also could be considered something that's for the greater good of our community. Hoping for an easy one here. Would you consider expanding the library's hours so it's more accessible to the community? We are looking at all kinds of things to make the library more accessible to the community. In addition to expanding hours, adding service areas or service places, like a lot of folks ask for branches, and it's something that we're investigating. I don't know if it's going to happen in the next year or 2 years or however long, but we're looking at it. So we do have a lot of data now that we can actually back up and see when people are using the library, maybe where our hours are deficient. I know we likely need to stay open later on Mondays because we have a crush of people between 4:30 and 5:30 trying to either return all their stuff for the week or check out their books for the week. So we are looking at expanding hours, and that's something that I think a lot of the folks on staff understand and know that we need to do. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's Han Solo stocking, by the way. I don't know if you know me, but big Star Wars fan. Why are you so hot? I'm a little overweight, and I have high blood pressure, so that's probably why. I mean, those are my two. I have a high metabolism, so yeah, I'm usually about 99 degrees, 99.5. I have a funny thing where I can put my hand on a surface and it'll leave my handprint anywhere. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. But. If you could be any animal for a day, which would you choose and why? Well, I want to be an orangutan for a day. I think that'd be pretty great to swing in trees. I don't know if orangutans actually swing in trees, but in my mind they do. And I like their solitary nature, and if you've ever seen an orangutan in the zoo, they tend to hide under things, And sometimes you just want a day where you're hiding under something and not having anybody bother you, or maybe swinging in a tree later. Who knows? And they also make fantastic noises. Let's see here. Does pineapple belong on pizza? Absolutely. Pineapple belongs on pizza. I would go so far as to say pineapple hot sauce is a requirement for pizza for me. Or at least it has been the last few months. I have some pineapple hot sauce at my house and I put it on every pizza. So yes, pineapple definitely belongs on pizza. First of all, congratulations. Thank you. My question is, do you have a plan to buy more non-CD audiobook devices? They are such great tools for kids where English is not their primary language, like mine. I'm glad you have books. They're really very helpful for kids because they can know the correct pronunciation of many words. Yeah, we plan to buy a whole lot more of those. There are a number of options now. Talking books like Vox books, where the book actually reads along with you or has interactive sounds while you read. Carousel books, we used to call them carousel books. They're called read-alongs now, where there's a companion CD in a book. Yeah, but absolutely, that's something that I think we need more of. We don't have enough, and especially for how many of them circulate. So yeah, we're going to order more of those. I think I might get through all of these. John Wells had a vision for the Garland County Library and actualized that vision over several decades. What is your 10-year vision for Garland County Library? Do you feel it expands or departs from John Wells? I will say that John followed standard library practices and had strategic plans done which guided the library. But libraries always change. That's something that's the same from his administration. It's going to be the same in mine, and it's every library across the country. So insofar as his vision, it was sufficient for the library and the library's needs during his tenure. But our library's needs are changing. Our community's changing. And so the vision that the library is going to have is going to change too. So in some regards, it expands on what he laid the foundation for, and it also departs. But it's staying true to John's vision of doing the best for the people of Garland County with the dollars that we have and the facilities that we have. I feel like that was a very political answer, but what made you decide to work at a library? I originally wanted to be an English teacher, and I was going to college for English. I have an English degree around here somewhere. And my last semester in school, I had to take one additional elective, so I didn't have to stay at Henderson State for another semester. So I took a library research methods class with John Ragney. Shout out to John Ragney. And it changed my mind. I absolutely loved the work in that class. I realized it was the thing that I always wanted to do. And so I graduated, started applying to library schools, and I've been here ever since. But thinking back on it, I was that annoying kid who called the library every few days to ask reference questions before the internet was a thing. And so I was constantly pestering the reference librarians of the Central Arkansas Library, asking for information because I was a curious kid. So it feels like I've been marching towards this since I was probably 6 or 7, when I realized I wasn't going to be a professional baseball player. Did you always want to have a beard? No. And I didn't there for a while, and now I needed it to come back. I realized I have a face that needs a beard. So maybe I don't want one, but I have to have one. If you could already choose what legacy you want to be known for years from now when you retire, what would it be? I'd like for folks to know that I grew the library. I don't think there's really much need in our profession anymore for caretaker librarians who aren't growing the library. If you're not growing, you're becoming obsolete. You're becoming the thing that everyone accuses libraries of doing, which is being dinosaurs or buggy whip industries. I want to grow the library. I want it to be there for years to come because I believe in what libraries do. I'm trying to get past this question. I believe in what libraries do. I believe in the need for public spaces where anybody's welcome, and the fact that libraries level the playing field for a lot of folks. You know, we take for granted the fact that the internet is everywhere, but a large portion of our community can't afford home internet access, or they don't have access to broadband. And you need that now for everything from applying for jobs to going to school to paying your utilities. Everything is on the internet, and libraries fit that role really well in our facilities. But even outside of that, if you don't have internet at home, you're not streaming Netflix, you're not streaming Hoopla or Hulu or anything like that. So you're borrowing materials for the library, and that fills part of our mission. So yeah, I think that answers it. I feel like I'm rambling sometimes. Do you see a branch in the Lake Hamilton community in the near future? I don't know what near future is considered, but we're looking at 2 other areas in the county, which are very obvious because of their population centers, Hot Springs Village and Lake Hamilton, for expanding services. So whether that is a full-scale branch or some sort of social branch where it's more of a storefront, pick up and drop off, and we can gauge interest after a certain period of time, maybe more like a test rather than building a facility that we don't know how well it's going to be used. So yeah, we're looking into it. I think I'm at the bottom of the sock here. Oh, I got 2 more. Okay. What age were you when you started your love for books and reading? Very young. You know, I grew up in a family with a lot of siblings. I've got 4 brothers and sisters, and my parents own their own business. So we were the typical family that comes and uses the library. My parents couldn't afford to buy us books every week or month to keep up with our reading interests, so they took us to the Southwest Little Rock branch of the Central Arkansas Library System, and we maxed out our cards all the time. So as long as I can remember, I've been a reader. I just wish I had more time to do it. You know, it's funny that when it becomes your job, you do it less. So I feel like I read a whole lot more before I became a librarian. Did Han shoot first? This is my last question. Yes. Yes, Han shot first. If the first cut of the movie had Han shooting Greedo, then he shot first, and it doesn't matter what happened afterwards, including the most recent change of that scene. And I don't understand why they keep changing the cantina scene from Star Wars. I mean, this has got to be the last one, unless they do it again. Who knows? I thought they were already done with this, but yes, Han shot first. And that's it for my bag of Han Solo. It's appropriate that that was the last question, but I think that's the last one. So thanks for your questions. Come see me at the library. If you haven't already come down and said hi, please do. I'm not always at the front, but just holler for me and I'll come running. Somebody joked that in almost every picture I look like a mischievous bear, and so I shouldn't keep a jar of honey on my desk, huh?